Let me tell you something, friend. If you think turning 65 means you gotta park yourself in a rocking chair and knit socks while waiting for the next rerun of Murder, She Wrote, you're dead wrong. You ever met an 80-year-old man who still dreams of snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef, eating street food in Bangkok, or dancing salsa in Havana? Well, you're talking to him. Name's Paul Walker. I'm 80. And I've got more travel stories and travel mistakes than I got gray hairs. And believe me, that's saying something. Now listen, if you're over 65 and got a bit of that itchy foot syndrome, you know, the one that makes you want to leave your porch and go see the world, then I've got some wisdom for you. Not that fluffy motivational stuff either. I'm talking real, nitty-gritty survival type tips that'll keep your bones safe, your money in your pocket, and your sanity intact. You still with me? Good. This story might just save your life, or at least save your bladder during a 9-hour flight. Both are important. See, back when I turned 67, I decided I was going to relive my youth. I booked myself on a cruise around the Mediterranean. I had this romantic idea in my head, sipping wine on a deck while some fella played the violin and the wind tousled what little hair I had left. You know what really happened? I got seasick 3 hours in, forgot my medication in the cabin, and the only wind I felt was the air conditioning in the ship's infirmary. That was my first lesson. Always, and I mean always, carry your essential meds on you, in your little carry-on bag or that fanny pack you swore you'd never wear. I don't care how uncool it looks. Cool won't keep your blood pressure in check, but your pills will. And speaking of carry-ons, let's talk bags. You know what I did in Paris when I was 70? I brought this sleek, tiny backpack that the sales lady told me was modern and compact. Yeah, it was compact all right, so compact I had to choose between packing socks or my backup hearing aid batteries. Guess which one I left behind? Yup. I spent half the trip saying, huh? And the other half smiling and nodding like a fool to things I didn't hear. Pro tip, bring a bag that fits everything you actually need, not what the 20-year-old TikTok travel guru says you should pack. Unless that guru has arthritis knees and a prostate problem, ignore him. Now here's a big one, friend, accommodations. Oh Lord, you'd think by now I'd be smart enough to read the fine print, but nope. Booked this charming little guest house in Spain. Once was authentic local experience, they said. No elevator, 4 flights of stairs, and a toilet was down the hall. I nearly broke a hip just trying to get to the bathroom at 2 a.m. Always ask, is there an elevator or there's stairs? Is the bathroom inside the room? If it ain't, keep looking. You're not a backpacker anymore, you're a backcracker. And speaking of bathrooms, don't even get me started on public toilets in foreign countries. Bring tissue, always. Those little packs of pocket tissues saved my life in Thailand more than once. And hand sanitizer, lots of it. Because let's be real, our immune systems aren't as spunky as they used to be. One little stomach bug and you're sidelined for a week watching the adventure from the hotel toilet. I speak from very personal, very graphic experience. Oh, and let me throw a curveball at you. Hydration. Most people think older folks don't get hydrated. They think we just slowly mummify like ancient scrolls. But you want to know what got me hospitalized in Morocco? Not the food, not a mugging, it was dehydration. I got so caught up in the sights, forgot to drink water. Passed out in the market right between a camel and a guy selling fake Rolexes. Not my proudest moment. Now I carry a collapsible water bottle everywhere. Not sexy, but neither is fainting into a spice cart. Let me tell you about another gem, the flight experience. Now when I was 72, I booked a window seat thinking, the view, the peace, the luxury. You know what I got? A bladder trapped in the corner and 2 sleeping giants next to me who wouldn't move an inch. Worst 3 hours of my life. Ever tried doing a pee-pee shuffle over 2 snoring people with your knees cracking and your dignity slipping away? Choose the aisle seat, friend. Trust me, it's not glamorous, but it's practical. You get up whenever nature calls, and at our age, nature's got no sense of timing. And speaking of timing, here's something people don't talk enough about. Jet lag hits different after 65. When I was young, I could land in Italy and be eating pasta in 1 hour. Now, if I cross more than 2 time zones, I feel like I've been hit by a bus full of sumo wrestlers. Build in recovery days. Take it easy the first day. Let your body catch up. Have a coffee, walk a little, nap a lot. You know what else I recommend? Learn a few local phrases. Don't go acting like a loud tourist, waving English around like it's a universal translator. Learn how to say toilet, hospital, no spicy, and where is the elevator. These phrases can literally save your life, or at least save your bladder during a 9-hour flight. Both are important. Let me pause for a second, friend. If you've been nodding along, chuckling, or clutching your knees in horror, I got a small favor to ask. Go ahead and click that like button, leave a comment down below if you ever had a wild senior travel story, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm always here to give it to you straight, one wrinkle at a time, and I promise the stories only get wilder from here. Alright, now listen closely. You ever booked an all-inclusive and then realized they only serve food you can't eat? I did that in the Caribbean. Everything was deep-fried, softy, and full of sugar. No one told them Paul here had high blood pressure and a rebellious colon. I lived off crackers and bananas for 4 days. Lesson: research food options beforehand. And if you have dietary restrictions, call ahead. Don't assume the resort will cater to your low-sodium, high-fiber, lactose-free lifestyle. They might smile and nod and then serve you cheese-stuffed sausage with a side of saltwater soup. Now, friend, if you thought that was bad, wait till I tell you about my jungle adventure in Costa Rica. Yep, I thought I'd be the Tarzan of the golden years. Booked a rainforest hike with a group of 20-somethings. Nobody told me there'd be leeches, mudslides, and suspension bridges made of rope. Halfway through, my knees started a rebellion. My right ankle wrote its will, and by the time I reached the last slope, I had to be pulled up by 2 college kids who smelled like energy drinks and poor decisions. I laughed through the pain, but boy, that night, every bone in my body filed a complaint. Always ask what the terrain's like. Don't sign up for moderate hikes unless you know what they mean. Moderate for them is Mount Everest for us. Also, travel with a buddy if you can. Doesn't have to be a romantic partner, just someone who can laugh at your jokes, help you with your bags, and poke you awake if you snore on the plane. I traveled solo for years, but after 75, I started teaming up with my old Army buddy Frank. Frank's 82 now, and every time we go somewhere new, we take turns being the forgetful one. One time he lost his passport in Portugal. Next trip I forgot my pants in Prague. We balance each other out. And don't underestimate the power of walking sticks. Call them trekking poles if it makes you feel better. I once scoffed at the idea, thought I'd look like Gandalf. Now they're my best friends. Saved me from 3 falls, 2 uneven sidewalks, and 1 very angry goose in Canada. You don't need to be climbing Everest to use them. Just be smart. Keep yourself steady. Pride won't keep your hip from shattering, but that stick might. And if you're planning to do a lot of walking, don't forget to test your shoes before the trip. I bought this senior-friendly walking shoe a week before my trip to Japan. Wore 'em the first time in Osaka. By noon, I had blisters big enough to apply for citizenship. Test your shoes, break 'em in, or pack 20 Band-Aids and a box of regret. You know what else people forget? Backup glasses. I lost mine in the Mediterranean Sea once. Had to navigate 3 days using the magnifier app on my phone like a pirate with a digital spyglass. Now I bring 2 pairs, minimum, plus a sunglass prescription pair and a cheap one I got at the drugstore. I look like an optometrist on the run, but at least I can read the menus. And speaking of phones, bring a charger, a backup charger, a plug adapter, and a brain that remembers where you packed them. I once had a charger meltdown in London. Every store was closed, and my phone was as dead as my dating life. I had to ask directions using a paper map like it was 1975. Oh, and while we're here, don't rely just on your phone for everything. Paper backups, printed itineraries, actual hotel addresses. You don't want to be stuck in a foreign country with a dead phone and nothing but your charming personality. Trust me, I've been there.
Let me pick up where we left off, friend. So I'm stranded in London with a dead phone and nothing but a crumpled napkin with "hotels somewhere near the park" scribbled on it. You know what saved me? An old lady selling flowers who loaned me her landline and gave me tea while I figured out what continent I was on. Moral of the story? Be kind to strangers, carry printed addresses, and never trust your battery percentage after 6 p.m. Now here's something you might not expect to matter, but oh, it does. Laundry. Unless you're okay hauling 3 weeks of underwear in your suitcase, which I tried once, don't recommend it. Back pain and suitcase zippers ain't friends. You need a game plan. Me? I pack enough for 5 or 6 days, tops. Then I either wash in the hotel sink like I'm back in the Navy, or I find a local laundromat. I've had the best conversations with locals over detergent and spin cycles. But be warned, some places charge by the item, and once I paid $3 to wash one sock. One sock! That sock better have come out of that machine with a college degree. Now listen close, because this part right here, it might just save your bacon someday. The emergency plan. Always know where the nearest hospital or clinic is. Have a card in your wallet with emergency contacts, blood type, medications, allergies, and insurance info. Not everything's stored on your phone, and if you collapse in a piazza somewhere, they won't have time to guess whether you're allergic to penicillin or just passed out from too much wine. And speaking of wine, pace yourself, my friend. Your liver ain't what it used to be. One time in Greece, I had 3 glasses of ouzo because a local told me it'd bring the fire back. All it brought was the room spinning like a merry-go-round and me serenading a potted plant. Drink water between your drinks. Eat first, and don't mix liquors unless you're trying to meet the paramedics. Another tip I learned the hard way: tell your bank you're traveling. Otherwise, they'll freeze your card after your first international coffee purchase, thinking it's fraud. I got stuck in Vietnam with $8 in my pocket and a wallet full of useless plastic. I had to call my daughter Collect and pretend it was an emergency, which technically it was, even if that emergency was me wanting to bowl a pho. Also, bring cash. Not too much, but enough for taxis, tips, and places that look at credit cards like they're witchcraft. I like to stash mine in 3 spots: one in my wallet, one in a sock, and one in my shaving kit. That way if someone pickpockets me, joke's on them. They only get a third of the treasure. It's like a travel version of hide and seek. And please, for the love of your old ticker, don't skip the travel insurance. You wouldn't jump out of a plane without a parachute, right? Then don't fly across the globe without a safety net. One slip on a wet floor, one flu bug, and suddenly your dream trip turns into a financial disaster. Make sure the policy includes medical evacuation. I once met a guy in Peru who broke his ankle and had to be carried down a mountain on a donkey because he didn't have the right coverage. A donkey, friend, not even a fancy one, just a regular old grumpy donkey with opinions. Now let's shift gears a little. You ever traveled to relax and come back more exhausted than when you left? That was me at 74 after a 12-day bucket list blitz. I hit 5 countries in under 2 weeks. Thought I was a globe-trotting James Bond. Instead, I was a jet-lagged, bloated old man who forgot what time zone his bladder was in. Slow down. 1 country per trip is enough, maybe 2. Take the time to really soak it in. Sip your coffee. Watch people. Let your joints adjust before you hop on another plane. Now let's talk airport security too. At our age, it feels like a gym class exam. Shoes off, belt off, stand like a scarecrow, lift your arms, empty your pockets. Once I forgot my knee brace had metal, set off every alarm. They pulled me aside and wanded me like I was smuggling gold bars. Now I wear slip-on shoes, no belt, and keep all metal in a Ziploc. Makes the process smoother than prune juice at 9 a.m. And hey, have some fun with it. I like to flirt a little with the security folks. Not in a creepy way, just enough to get a smile. Life's too short to scowl through airports. Compliment someone's tie. Say hi to the janitor. Crack a joke. Kindness is a passport all its own. Now, friend, I gotta say this loud and clear. Don't ignore your instincts. You walk into a place and something feels off, leave. Don't stay because you feel rude. Don't linger because it's probably fine. I once got a weird vibe in a back alley market in Colombia. Left in a hurry. Next day, that market got shut down for being a front for stolen phones and wallets. Your gut has been with you longer than most of your friends. Listen to it. And let's talk about comfort. Bring a travel pillow you actually like, not those donut-shaped neck torture devices. I found one that wraps around like a scarf and has secret compartments for earplugs and eye masks. I call it my nap-time ninja gear. Also, compression socks. Laugh all you want, but these babies keep the blood flowing and the ankles from swelling like angry muffins. You'll thank me when you can still feel your toes after a long flight. And technology, my goodness. Download offline maps, translation apps, airline apps. I even got one that reminds me to take my pills based on the local time zone. Ain't that something? But again, don't put your faith entirely in technology. If your phone dies, all that fancy stuff dies with it. So double up, paper and digital. Now I know I'm rambling, but I've earned the right to, haven't I? I'm 80. I've survived 3 flight delays, 2 bedbug hotels, and 1 camel bite in Egypt. I've lived to tell the tale. And friend, if you remember nothing else, remember this. Travel isn't about ticking boxes. It's about filling your heart, stretching your mind, and yes, resting your old achy bones in places that smell like fresh bread or ocean spray. It's about laughing when things go wrong, laughing when things go right, and laughing most of all at yourself. Bring the meds, wear the shoes, pack the socks, get the shots, use the cane, say yes to dessert, say no to suspicious alleyways, take pictures, take naps, talk to strangers, listen to stories, share yours. Because you know what? At our age, we've got the best kind of passport there is, life experience. People listen when we talk. People smile when we laugh. And the world needs more of us out there, still exploring, still curious, still moving, even if it's a little slower than it used to be. So go on, book that trip, but pack smart and maybe call me when you get there. Chances are I'll be in the room next door, writing postcards with one hand and holding a croissant in the other. Now go, friend, the world is waiting. And don't forget your backup glasses.